Hey everybody, it's Robert Sivori again with Keller Williams Village Square Realty. This video goes out to anybody out there who's thinking about doing a short sale and possibly has any judgments. Okay, it actually goes out to any other real estate agent, attorney, loan officer, anybody at all who is dealing with an owner of a property and they're doing a short sale and has judgments. Okay, I can definitely help them out, and I would want to show an example of how I helped somebody out in the past. This is an actual true example. This is a closing that I had from last year. And once again, if you notice, with my other videos, I do remove the buyer and sellers and closing agents information. I don't have their permission, but I am gonna, show you this HUD and show you how I managed to get this deal done, even though the owner of the property, the seller, had thousands of dollars in judgments that needed to get paid for. So first of all, this was a vacant house. Once again, I'm reaching out to owners of vacant houses. If you do have any judgments or any tax liens, IRS, state, like New Jersey state tax liens, unemployment, taxes that you have to pay for, whatever, let me know. And, even if you do have, whether it's a vacant house or an occupied house, you can utilize that house, okay, in order to pay for your bills. Okay, so this was a vacant house in Bogota. The owner lived in New York, in New York City. All right. I reached out to him. I met up with him, and I got him to sign the listing agreement and all the other documents in order for me to begin the short sale. The house was vacant, and there was a disaster inside. I mean, it had not been broken into, but it hadn't been winterized, and there was mold in the basement, and it was the kitchen wasn't updated, so when the bank sent the appraiser out there, it came in at $200,000. Okay, now this particular bank preferred to give me the list price before taking in an offer. So they said, look, put the property out on the market for $200,000. That's what we did. At the same time, we knew that the owner had some judgments that needed to get paid for. Over here, as you can see, the judgments were for about $38,000 in total. Okay, now everybody keep this in mind, and not many agents do this. Whenever we do any transaction, whenever we represent a seller, whether it's a vacant house, an occupied house, a short sale, a non-short sale, we always do preliminary title searches. We check the title on the property because we want to know if there's one mortgage or two mortgages or even three or four mortgages, which we've done before. Okay, and we especially want to know if the owner or owners have any judgments against them, because if they do, then it's a judgment against the property. And we all been through the situation where we get a short sale done, and about a week or 2 weeks before the closing, title is done, and it comes back and it says that there's, for example, $38,000 in judgments. I mean, this would be a deal killer, right? Nobody's gonna want to pay an extra $38,000 for a property, when they already had a certain price in mind. Okay, so we always find out, way before, when we begin it. All right, and also this is just another reminder. Please, with any transaction, just do the title search. Like, as soon as you get a property under contract, just get the title in immediately. I mean, this is just a friendly real estate agent reminder to everybody involved in any transaction, whether it's an attorney, a buyer, a seller, a mortgage rep, real estate agents. Get title done immediately. It does not cost a lot of money, and it will prevent so many headaches. Okay, as I mentioned, even before we were under contract with this property, we knew that this owner had about $38,000 in judgments over here. So once we put this property on the market for $200,000, we disclosed in the MLS. Okay, when I say we, it's because I am the team leader of the Veritas group, and I had a processor, and I still do have the same processor, Rafael Flores, who helps me out with these deals. Okay, so when we put the property in the MLS, it was listed for $200,000, but there was also in the MLS report, there was notes in there that whoever buys this property is aware that there are $38,000 in judgments. So there was a buyer represented by another agency, I think Keller Williams. This is back when I was not with Keller Williams Village Square Realty. I was with Nicholas Real Estate. And this Keller Williams, I forget where it was. I think it might have been in Clifton. I forget, but the agent called me up and said, "Hey, are these judgments included in the 200, or are they, have to be paid apart?" I go, "No, they have to be paid apart. It's not like the owner wants his money. This money has to go towards the bank, and the buyer is going to have to bring the $200,000 amount to the closing table, in addition to these $38,000 in judgments to the closing table as well." Now, my promise was to at least try to get this. My promise to that agent and to the buyer, whom I didn't know, okay, I didn't know this buyer, was to at least try to settle these amounts, these 4 judgments, for something. Maybe this first judgment over here for $22,000, I can get it down to 15 grand. Okay, so I'm gonna show you soon, what exactly was settled. So, but at least the buyer knew that he needed to, if needed to, he would have to pay up to no more than $38,523.62. Okay, in addition to the $200,000 purchase price. Okay, so the buyer agreed. This offer was signed by the seller. So then we had an executed contract. We sent it over to the bank. It was approved at a $200,000 purchase price. Okay, so now in the meantime, this seller, this owner who was living in New York City, he could not open up a bank account. He was getting his wages garnished as well, because he had these judgments. All right, and he didn't know how to take care of them. He didn't know anything about a bankruptcy. He just thought, well, it's always going to be there. Then comes Rob Sivori and tells him, "Hey, look, if you utilize your property, if you sell your property, you could utilize it to have these judgments paid for, as long as the price makes sense for whoever's going to buy this house." And remember, once again, I did not know who was going to buy this property. Okay, so now let's fast forward to the closing, and let me open up that document. It's right over here. Okay, and once again, I removed the names of everybody involved. I don't have their permission, but the numbers here are pretty much the same as the numbers you saw in this HUD-1 settlement statement that was approved by the bank. Okay, so let's go back to the actual one that was signed at the closing. So we closed this on May 25th, 2017. As you see here, the purchase price is $200,000. Okay, let's keep on scrolling down. These are just some fees for the loan that the buyer took out. I think it was a hard money loan. He used a hard money lender. There lender policies. All these other fees that need to get paid for. Recording fees, $650. And now we have the judgments over here. Okay, so as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 judgments are included. So these were paid for at the closing. All right, and I mentioned earlier that I was trying to get these judgments settled. Let's see what I was able to do. I always try to get them settled as much as possible. Sometimes these banks, in this case it's Midland Funding, Discover Bank, American Express. I spoke with their attorneys. Some of them are great to work with, and they say, "Hey, give me half of what is owed." Or some of them say, "I want all that it's owed," or maybe 10% of what's owed, or maybe they decrease it by $1,000. It's just, like all of these banks are different. Okay, so let's go back to what they were originally. So as you can see over here, let me increase this. The judgment for 119041-2010 was $22,916. And over here we go, 119041-2010. This is what was paid for. Okay, so how much was I able to get decreased? About $400. That's it. Once again, some of these banks are just really difficult to work with. This 243244 judgment over here, when I did the judgment search, it was $13,856, and he paid just a little bit less than that. And as you can see, these other ones are smaller ones. Basically, these banks wouldn't budge on what was owed to them. So once again, when we went under contract, the buyer was aware that he would not pay more than this $38,523.62, and he did not pay more than this. So if you add these four amounts, this amount, this amount, this amount, and this one, it does not come out to more than what he knew from the very beginning what he was going to pay for. So there was no surprises whatsoever. Okay, it wasn't like at the closing he, or a week or 2 weeks before title, this comes up as a judgment, and the buyer's like, well, what are you talking about? I was only expecting to pay $200,000. Now I have to pay another, $36,000 or $37,000. He knew about this from the very beginning, so it wasn't a surprise. And this is what we do with every single deal. We do a preliminary title search and a judgment search of every owner. In this case, there's only one owner, and we just needed to check just him, and he had these judgments. Now, when we closed, these judgments were completely paid for, and this owner was absolutely ecstatic. So I gave him, well, it's not that I gave him, but the deal gave him an incentive to sell the property, which, was, good for me because I got the sale done. But the guy was happy. I mean, now he was able to do a simple things like open up his bank account, right? And now his wages are not being garnished anymore. All right. Why? Because he sold a property that he didn't even know he owned anymore. All right. He just left it. I think he told me that he was behind on his mortgage for about 3 or 4 years, and he just didn't. He thought that maybe the bank was going to come into the property one day and just kick him out and his family out. So he just left, and he moved from Bogota, New Jersey to New York City. Really nice guy. I'm actually still in contact with him. He's referred me about 2 other buyers. Every time I do speak with him, he kind of brings up, "Hey, thanks, Rob, again for what you did." I said, "Dude, thank you also for allowing me to work with you and to at least be open about it." At first he was, I don't want to sell. It doesn't belong to me, kind of deal. And then once he signed and he said, "You know what? Let's get rid of it. I don't want my name on this property anymore." And I checked title and I said, "Hey, look, I would try to get you an incentive from the bank," which, as you can see in this HUD-1 settlement statement, I was not able to get him a penny. All right. In other deals, I would be able to get the owner an incentive to sell the property. Usually it's about $3,000 or $5,000. I wasn't able to do that, but I was able to get his $38,000 in judgments paid for. Okay, so if you are one of these owners of a property, whether it's vacant or occupied, and you have judgments, whether they're hospital bills, IRS tax liens, New Jersey state tax liens, whatever it is, okay, but they have to be judgments, and they have to be recorded with the upper court, with the Superior Court in New Jersey, with the upper court in New Jersey. Please let me know. Let's talk about this. I can definitely help you out. All right. My number is 908-432-2526. Here's my business card again. Anybody who whether it's you, attorneys out there as well, let me know. I can help you. All right. Other agents out there who, having a difficult time with this, just let me know. I can help you out with this as well. Mortgage reps, I can help you out. All right. So, looking forward to helping anybody out. And as you can see over here, this type of transaction goes hand in hand with their mission statement, which is to provide an opportunity for a better life. All right. See everybody soon in the next video. Bye-bye.